Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I would like you to change the country and the name, obviously, of this guy and see how you would interpret his statements. And that is one Israeli government official. He is a minister in Israel's government. So he is one big shot. He just says that nuking Gaza is an option. That is, using nuclear weapons in Gaza is an option. What do you think? Now, if you have, I don't know, you find justifications for such a statement and action, and I would like to substitute this guy and this country with, let's say, 1943 Germany. And let's say they had a nuclear weapon, nuclear bomb, atomic bomb. They would say such a thing. Would you be okay with that? What if the Russians now would say the same thing in Ukraine? Would you be okay with that? Otherwise, some people are more important than others and have a different status. Now let me show you a few articles here. One coming from The Hill. Please pay attention to the words these guys use. Netanyahu suspends, good for him, minister who suggested dropping nuclear bomb on Gaza. Well, okay, he suggested. Now this guy, so Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, suspended far-right heritage minister Amichai Eliyahu on Sunday after he suggested that dropping an atomic bomb on Gaza was a possible way to deal with a threat from Hamas. Now, we're not idiots. We know that atomic bomb kills indiscriminately everybody. It's not going to pick between Palestinian civilians and Hamas militants, how you want to call them. Right? Asked in a radio interview Sunday whether Israel should drop an atomic bomb on Gaza, Eliyahu replied that that was an option. But do you have the atomic bomb, or the Americans are going to give it to you? Either way, somehow you might have one in your possession. So the Jerusalem Post reported, noting that the comment came in a larger discussion about humanitarian aid. Too late. No. And I'm quoting this guy, right? We wouldn't have given the Nazis humanitarian aid, he said, according to the reporting. There's no such a thing as innocence in Gaza. Did you hear that? Collective punishment. Why don't you read the Old Testament? All right? But read it with our way of seeing things, okay? Not with their way of seeing things. That is, using the Western civilization. The Greeks use it. I did. I wrote 2 books on that. Go and find them on Amazon. Netanyahu sharply rebuked the comments, saying that were not based in reality, and stressing Israel's commitment to abide by international law and avoid unnecessary death. I think this, with international law, I think it's already gone. It just, civilians were targeted, killed, apartment buildings destroyed. I don't think that's part of the international law. As well, not violation of, right? Is it? Turning off the water of a group in a city, and with the intention of doing what? If someone turns the water at your house, what do you think that person wants to do, wants to accomplish? If it's your enemy, to harm you using that, that's illegal. It's illegal. So let's go back to the articles and go to the next article coming from the Telegraph. Remember, here this guy says in this title, suggested dropping. This guy says dropping as an option. Could be a suggestion, right? This is from the Telegraph. Netanyahu suspends minister who says dropping nuclear bomb on Gaza is an option. I don't think it's an option ever, a dropping on Gaza or anywhere else for that matter, because you're not going to have only, if troops, your opponents, the guys that have guns to kill you, It's a different story, but here, no. So this is probably the guy. Yeah, this is the guy. Amichai Eliyahu, the Israeli Minister of Defense, has been suspended. Again, far right, the same thing. They put this far right. Doesn't really matter if it's far right or far left, but the point here is there's nobody on the far left would say that, only on the far right. And that's basically what these guys are trying to accomplish here, I guess, through mentioning that. In the first sentence, right there, he didn't mention the name of the party. They call it far right. Pay attention to this garbage. All right, so it says here is one of the possibilities. So the country's heritage minister, a member of the far right, now Ozuma Yehudit party, told the local radio station that dropping a nuclear bomb on Gaza Strip, and I'm quoting, is one of the possibilities the government is considering. Now, I always make a distinction between, because there is a distinction between possibility and probability. Now, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. Is it probable? Now that's the problem. Because it's possible, it's like doable. They can do it. The problem is probable? Is it probable this guy will do it? What are the chances they will do it? So that's I'm more interested. The problem is we have this conversation. That's the biggest problem. It's like a big, thick door that should not be penetrated, and it's already cracking. That's where these guys are. Now, you can defend it however you want, but if these guys have the right in self-defense, other people who say that we are occupied, we are in self-defense, not you. You are the occupiers. Could that be a reason to say, okay, give us one and we're going to drop it on you in self-defense? All right, and there's another article I have here. And this comes from Russia Today. Nuking Gaza, a possibility. Look at him, smirky little fucker. Israeli minister. Remarks have sparked widespread condemnation in Israel and Palestine alike. So, again, the same thing, this guy, did they mention here the far right? Again, right here. Far right. And these are the Russians. Well, and he says here, we wouldn't hand the Nazis humanitarian aid, and there is no such thing as uninvolved civilians in Gaza. I think this guy is a very bad dude. Bad in a way that he's thinking that way. Because obviously, if you really want to use the same logic, other groups, could be used as, you're guilty of this, no innocent this, or no innocent that. But we condemn that. We condemn collective punishment for the reason is that unless you did something directly, you're not guilty of anything. And that has to be proven in a court of law, not by Yehudi Menuhin, okay, the composer. Yehudi Menuhin? I think that's what his name was. The student of, one of the students of Enescu, George Enescu, the Romanian composer. So, my friends, what would you say? Good that obviously Netanyahu fired this guy, but how did he get there? Well, I know we all have thoughts that we don't share with other people, and sometimes we make statements of the thoughts when we make a mistake or we think that we're safe to make it, and we're okay with the consequences and so on. And I don't know, this guy, I think he made not make these statements not as a mistake, a slip of the tongue. I think he made it because he thinks that circumstances would render this kind of response. Would say, okay, it's acceptable. I don't think it's acceptable whatsoever. If there would be too military and dropping bombs, it's a different. We can have a conversation on that one. I would say. I'm not saying, oh yeah, you could, as a conversation, you can say, oh, it's a possibility. Oh yeah, well, that's a different story. But on civilians, on a city, but what do you want? Their lapdog did it in before 2 times. So again, in self-defense and for good reasons. But still, you killed civilians. All right, that's a war crime, my friends. You can't, in self-defense, extend beyond a certain limit. It's not that I'm fighting with my neighbor attacks me. Let's say my neighbor attacks me and wants to cause me harm. And all of a sudden I overpower him. And not I'm overpowering him and I'm knocking him out. I'm going to go to his house, get his wife, provide her with some services if she looks good, and then burn the house, or what? Is it how it is? Well, in self-defense, so you can't expand it to this kind of behavior. That would be called rape, that would be called arson, that would be called this and that. But under this guise's collective punishment garbage, they don't think really. Netanyahu did not, I don't think he did that. I don't know his intent. I'm just analyzing. But I don't think he did that because he disagreed with it, or he might not have thoughts of that. I don't know what's in his head. But the thing is, a lot of people, they apologize, or, not that they said it, they got caught saying it. In this case, this guy was not caught or anything like that. He just simply said it in a radio station. So, well, we'll see. It's good that he got fired. How many others have this kind of thoughts? Let's say they're in the Israeli military, or not only Israeli military, Pakistani military. You know what I mean? Pakistan are Muslims, are they? All right, my friends. Crazy. Thank you very much for being with me again today. It seems like sometimes the victims become more intolerant than others. You're back in business. Than others, when they have the power or the upper hand. And that's actually a psychological, how should I put it, reality, or there were some studies on this that suggest, let's use that term, suggest that people who were abused, when they get the upper hand, tend to abuse more than people that were not abused. So in this case, I think we have the most abused group on this planet and its history. So if it goes with proportionate with the return the favor, then an atomic bomb on Gaza, I think, for them might, for some might sound justifiable or justified. I don't think so. Yeah, well, this is the people we deal with, and as I said, we all have thoughts, but thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.